Yo, before the podcast starts, remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a review, and don't forget to tell a friend so we can all have a conversation. This is a warning message to let you know this podcast is not for the easily offended. If you get offended easily, you're advised to turn off now. If you're still here listening, thank you and enjoy the show. What's up with the world? It's your boy Sleepy J. You're tuned into the Sleep Talking Podcast. Thank you guys for coming back, checking me out once again for a new episode. I got a lot of things to cover. I'm going to do this kind of quick. I apologize for speeding through so much, but first and foremost, let me just check in with you guys. How y'all doing? What y'all been up to? Y'all keeping up with your New Year's resolutions and things like that? I'll admit I'm a little bit behind, but I'm still going to keep at it. Like the whole year still got plenty of time to get things done. What have I been up to lately? I've been watching The Rookie, binge watching that. If you guys been watching it, I'm new to the show, but I've been enjoying it as I've been watching it. Power Force ended. I've been a huge fan of the Force, or not Force, Power franchise. So watching another one end, a little bit disappointing. Wasn't quite what I thought it was going to be. I kind of was... I expected more of a cliffhanger for the next iteration of what's to come, but it was still a cool ending to the show. If you are in the cold front that we all are going through, I'm in Dallas. People in Missouri are going through it. People all through the East Coast, through the Midwest to the South, they're all going through this ice storm right now. That's what I'm doing. It's cold outside. The ice is out. Wasn't able to kind of get out there and do my thing for my deliveries because, well, everything was closed because it's Dallas and they don't know how to handle ice everywhere. So forced to kind of hunker down a little bit, be inside the house a little bit. But, what are you going to do? We're all trying to make it through the cold, right? But anyways, let's get into the podcast. Let's go ahead and get into it. So for my sports news, obviously we're in the NFL playoffs. We got the Patriots getting ready to go against the Broncos and the Seahawks getting ready to go against the Lambs. I'm going to call Patriots going to beat the Broncos, and I'm going to say the Seahawks are going to beat the Lambs because I hate the Lambs. And I just think the Seahawks are just the team that are probably going to go all the way this year. That's just been my prediction since the playoffs have come around. Bills fired their head coach, which is questionable to some people. Some people think that the Bills, not most. A lot of teams have a lot of, like if you have a winning record each year, there's a lot of loyalty to that coach. Mike Tomlin, for instance, is a great example of that. For the majority of his time being at the Steelers, he's had winning seasons, and that is a reason to keep him employed and keep him on your team as a head coach. But there's also some teams that just want to win a Super Bowl, and if you're not getting there, if you're not producing results, you're going to switch up your coach every few years. And it seems like the Bills have gotten tired of McDermott getting them to the playoffs but not getting them to the Super Bowl. So they had to part ways. So I understand it. I don't necessarily agree with it because he's at least got them to the championship round, even though, the AFC's been one of the hardest divisions the last 5-6 years at least, with Kansas City, with the the Bengals, Joe Burrow. Like, he's got some competition, so it's hard. I understand it, but then again, I look at it as this year the people that have been knocking them out wasn't even in the talks. They weren't even in the playoffs at this time, so maybe it was time to part ways. I don't know. Questionable. Also, since I was talking about Mike Tomlin, he did step down. I have been hearing rumors that possibly Mike McCarthy is going to go to Pittsburgh, which kind of makes sense because Mike McCarthy's from Pittsburgh, but I don't like Mike McCarthy like that anymore. So I think that's a bad move. But we'll see. I do have a conspiracy theory that if the new coach does shit the bed, it would be dope to see Mike Tomlin step back up and say, like, see, you guys been talking shit about me Uh, New coach can't handle it, so let me go ahead and take my position back and get us back to these winning seasons. But that's just in my head. Boxing news: Gervonta Davis has been stripped of the WBA lightweight title. He's also being looked for by Miami PD, and U.S. Marshals have also joined the search, which is a weird thing because like they know who he is and where he is, but they don't know where he is. So um, it's just an interesting thing for them to do that. I don't know if he's going to turn himself in or not, but it's unfortunate that every time we see Tank Davis or Gervonta Davis in the news, it's not for anything good. It's not for him winning championships anymore or for him doing anything. And I'm not throwing no shade to him. I'm just saying that it seems like everything that we're hearing lately is only about his personal battles and not necessarily seeing him in the ring. Um, but, let's keep it moving a little bit. Music headline news. We're gearing up to see the halftime show, right? Bad Bunny going to be out there. He's getting his team together on who he wants to be performing with him as far as for dancers. He's, there's a bunch of speculations on who's going to be showing up. So it should be interesting. People are still getting upset about it, but I'm intrigued to see how he handles the halftime show. And other music headline news: Don Lemon and Nicki Minaj kind of got into it. Don Lemon was reporting on a protest that was going on that just so happened to go inside of a church. And a lot of people are upset about this. They feel like if you're in the house of God, you shouldn't have any type of protest going on. I also see people saying that the reporting of it was messed up, which is where Nicki Minaj comes in. She was mad that Don Lemon was there reporting on it, saying that he should go to jail. He, kind of clapped back at her, responding about her husband and her brother and all these allegations that are on her family and how she doesn't have a whole lot of room to talk about who should be in prison and for what. I think it was just kind of a little sassy thing for him to respond to how he did, but it was also, Don Lemon. I guess there's nothing sassy about that, right? He's Don Lemon, but it was just interesting. It was kind of funny to see it happen. He might be facing charges for the protest. I didn't know it was against the law to protest inside of a church. Apparently it is. But also, moving on. Kanye West has hit the news again, but nothing too crazy. Apparently his song, Through the Wire, the sample was not cleared to give him any writer's credit on that song. That song was written by some other people for Shaka Khan, and they gave him the license to use it, but they did not give him any writer's credit, so he did not get paid for the writing of the song, which is kind of a bummer. But when you think about the sacrifice of like what he got out of that, it was probably worth it, right? Like he did this song that built his career, that essentially made him $1 billion later on. So had he not accepted the terms of that song, would we have Kanye West, the billionaire that he got, where he had the fashion clothes, where he did the church, where he did everything that he's done? Whether you like him or not, at some point, most people did rock with him. They did like the music that he was doing. They did like his church Sundays. They did like a lot of his clothes before he started going on his political views and his tyrants and things like that. So I think in the end he won, even though he lost in that one moment. Fetty Wap has been released out of prison, and there's a new trend talking about 2016 is back. A lot of people are excited, revisiting what 2016 looked like, feeling like that this is it. It's an interesting trend, kind of fun, but it's also, it doesn't, I don't know, it kind of correlates because in 2016 Fetty Wap was a big deal at the time. Anyways, let's keep it moving. The Rock the Country Festival by Kid Rock. Two hip-hop names that everyone's seen on there. Nelly, which is not a big surprise when Nelly did the inaugural ball. And Ludacris was the one that got really upset that upset everybody that was on there. I will be admittedly say I was upset to see Ludacris on that bill, but since then, he has been removed. There's been statements saying that it was a misunderstanding. He was never supposed to be on the bill. They did have him on there. Um, but anyways, that was all going on. Um, J. Cole has a new song. I don't remember what it's called, but I do know it does remind me of Nas's Rewind, which is interesting. Fat Joe critiques that J. Cole is no longer that guy. He thinks that since he bowed out from his battle with Kendrick and Drake, that he just doesn't have that MC right to be an MC or to be that guy. So he's counting him out. Jadakiss is saying there's a new mixtape coming out before this new album, The Fall Off, comes out, and is he spitting that fire? So it's up in the air. I don't know how you guys feel about it. Me personally, I like J. Cole. I don't really think everyone always talks about how hip hop is a competitive sport, and you got to be willing to battle or go hard at somebody or just prove that you're the best. And if that's what you want to do, if you want to be the best and you have to prove it, go ahead, do that. But if you're not willing to engage to say that you're the best, I think the hip hop could be bigger than that, is bigger than that. I think there are some people that are just in it to be artists and create music and be good at it. And I think that J. Cole is one of those people. He wants to show that he has great skills, that he is creating art that he is proud of, regardless of what everyone else is thinking. And I think that that's where he sits, and that's why he sits at the top of where he is in the game. But yeah. Also, before I move too far out of this, I do need to go over to some politic news that y'all know I don't like to hit the politics, but it has to be talked about. ICE has detained young kids now. We have a 5-year-old that got detained so that way he could be baited for his dad and other people in the community. There's been 2-year-olds that have been brought up in this. It is just, being a thing that is happening. It is horrible. Earlier today, there was a shooting of another unarmed guy, another citizen that was just simply recording. It is getting a little out of hand. I've seen a protest in Minnesota where people are leaving work, businesses are paying people to stay home and protest. I think it was like 700,000 people were showing up. Schools were closed down. We're starting to see a lot of pushback on the things that are going on with ICE, a lot of things that are going on in political news with Donald Trump and things like that. And it's very interesting. It's very interesting because we are seeing a lot of things that I don't think we've seen in my lifetime. So if you're in your 40s, you probably haven't seen a lot of this stuff, and so that's interesting. If you're in your 40s or younger, you've probably never seen a lot of this stuff. So I'm interested in seeing how this is all going to play out. I hope that it plays out in a good way for the people, the country, the people that are being affected by it. But it is a very scary time for the uncertainty of the things that are going on in the world. I also seen that they are trying to pass a bill to end dual citizenship, which is very interesting because I know since Donald Trump has been going on his situation, I know a lot of people personally that did get their dual citizenship, that they get their citizenship to go to countries that their parents are from or things of that nature. And so it's interesting that they want to end it. But I also am a little bit unsure about that because my mom, she was born in Mexico, and I know she got her citizenship to be an American. And from my understanding, she had to denounce her citizenship in Mexico, but I don't know that Mexico knows that she did that. So maybe she's still technically a citizen of Mexico. Like America don't have to acknowledge her citizenship in Mexico, but if Mexico still acknowledges it, then I don't know. I don't know how that works. These are things I don't necessarily understand. And back to the other stuff in political news as far as for with ICE and the people that are protesting and things like that. Again, I don't understand that if we're seeing people push back with all these protests, and I'm not talking like small protests of a small amount of people, we're seeing people by the hundreds of thousands upwards of millions of people that are saying that they're not happy with the administration, they're not happy with ICE being in their cities and their towns and their states and things like that. We have governors that are talking about this. Why are we still having to do that? Like, why can't, like, we're seeing people say that they're okay with the so-called illegal citizens being in their community doing the work that they're doing. They're not hurting anybody. They're not doing things. And I don't understand it. Someone needs to explain to me politics on how come, if the masses are showing that we are okay with something, again, let's talk about marijuana. Majority of the states have legalized marijuana, yet it's still illegal as far as for the country. We got people saying that they don't like ICE in their city, ICE in their town. They don't like this happening, yet they're still allowing it. I don't understand this. Like, if the people are speaking out and saying, hey, this is not what we're about, we don't like it, we don't want it, I don't understand it. But let's leave those politics alone. Let's move on. My announcements that I have. I did drop a new song called Step. I hope you guys run it up, check it out. It is some new music that I'm excited to put out. Hopefully you guys check it out. Hopefully you guys start seeing people doing TikToks and dances and things like that to it. I don't know. It's something different, but it's not. I did a song many years ago called Too Cool is what I used to call it. Or maybe, I don't know, I think it was called Too Cool. But it was a two-step song, talking about dancing and doing a two-step. This is more of an updated version of it. But the one that I did back in the day was more of talking about people that were too cool to actually dance in a club. This one is more of you're trying to do a two-step because you're comfortable with this. This is what you want to do because this is what, how you feel about dancing, and you're just trying to, have a good time, do your good old two-step. But hopefully you guys check it out. Hopefully you guys like it. Moving on. Music that I've been listening to. I have to correct myself from last week, or a couple weeks ago, I said that I was listening to Ciera, the rapper's album, and I think I called it like Trapperella or something like that, but it's Trappalachia. A play on, I think, the Appalachian Mountains, maybe. I don't know. But again, it's a solid album. I think y'all should check it out. Also, some people that I shouted out on my Dreamers Corner segments that I did a few months ago. Makk, she has a new song out called Too Heavy. Patrick Mosse has a new album called No Deal. So I suggest y'all check those out. Again, I apologize if it seems like I've been power talking, speed talking through a lot of this, but I wanted to get it done. It's kind of late in the night. I wanted to do this. Days going by, and I didn't want another week to go by without me publishing a new podcast for you guys. So I had to get a lot of this out also because of sports. But if I didn't do it tonight, tomorrow, football, and it's going to be over, and yeah, I don't even know if I'm going to upload this, but if I do, I wanted to get it done. I don't know. That's all I got for you guys for this week. Hopefully I will have another episode for you guys next week, maybe Thursday, Wednesday. I don't know. I got to get my recording schedule down. But in the meantime, guys, I'm sending out peace, love, positive thoughts, and prayers. I'll catch y'all later.